So we've done some pruning and we've done some wiring, and now we're going to do some potting. So you've got your repotting guide here, all right, step by step, just like the other processes. So have a look through that, and you'll know what we're in for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the tree out of its pot, and for that I need spatula. All right, root rake and spatula all in one. First of all, we're going to use the spatula bit, and we're going to lift it out of the pot. So all I'm going to do first of all is gently just sort of work our way around the outside of the root ball, like this. So we're just separating the soil from the pot. Okay, like that. Just get in there. And now hopefully what we can do is we can just sort of try to work the spatula underneath the root ball and just very carefully, and there it comes. That's great. Ooh, there we go. There, look at that. I'll just give them a little shake there. We will make a bit of a mess, but not to worry. There. I'll just take that one and I'll put the old pot down there, get that out of the way. Now next we're going to need a chopstick. Okay, handy little tool. I use this for all different things, but mainly for doing this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go around and I'm going to tease away. I want to reveal, I mean this is not too bad actually, but sometimes you get your bonsai and the soil's right up here and it's covering any nice roots, trunk flare, anything like that. So we're just going to go around. This one actually has already been done for us, but sometimes it's all covered up. So we're just going to tease around there, clean up there, just very gently. Sometimes you can repot a bonsai and the root ball is absolutely solid, takes ages. This one's actually very easy, so it's good. So these were probably root pruned about a year ago, I should think, so it's nice and easy. And it'll clean up just there. You never know, we might find some more roots in there. And it just gives it a little bit of character around the start of the bonsai. Yeah, we don't want to take out too much soil. Alright, so yeah, that's good. And we can also use, not too bad on this one, but sometimes if they're really stubborn, we can just get the rake. Yeah, look at that, you see? It's just a bit like combing your hair. Okay, it's a long time since I've combed my hair, I have to admit, but I used to. I can remember what it was like. There we go. So, we've got some straggly roots. Not bad. A little bit of a lump here. I might just sort of see what it's like there, just to break him out. Okay. Now, this type of bonsai, the Chinese Elm, is fantastic for repotting. You can take off a fair amount of root, but as a general rule when you're repotting, only take off a third. Alright, so you're leaving 2/3 of the root ball and removing about 1/3. So there we go. I'll just have a look and see if there's anything else. A little bit of a root coming down there. So, yeah, it's not bad at all. There we go. So that was actually nice and easy. I like it when they're easy. I'll say sometimes it can take me all day just to get to this stage. Some of the bigger bonsai and the roots are quite solid. It takes a long time to actually ease it out of the pot. takes a long time, the roots are solid, just to work them all back. So it can take a few hours just to get to this stage, but for this purpose, that's brilliant. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim back the roots. And for these, we've got these nice, big, chunky root shears. Okay, you can see that solid. All right, nice and thick here. Brilliant. So let's do it. Look at that. No problem. And I always just keep a pair of these big chunkies just for pruning the roots. There we go. Well, that was quick, that was easy, that's great. So what we're going to do now is have a tidy up and then we'll get the pot ready. Right, so I've had a quick clear up and now I've got this nice, neat root ball ready for a new pot. So let's pop him in. I have got a nice bonsai pot here, so I'm just going to sit him in there and see what he looks like. He looks good. At the moment, the pot looks a little bit big, a little bit bright, but don't forget that the bonsai is going to grow, it's going to fill out, and it's going to look a lot more thicker and fuller, so I think then the pot will be just right. But what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of other pots that I've got here, because it does make a lot of difference. So, an oval pot, let's put him into there. Alright, this will be just off centre a little bit. Okay, I know he's probably not quite balanced, probably leaning a little bit, but just for purposes of looking at a different pot. So that one, and cream pot. Makes it look a lot different, doesn't it? Great. But I'm going to stick with my blue pot. There we go. Alright. Let's stick it back in there. Just double check. Yep, I think in a few weeks, especially in a few months, new leaves coming out, nice thick foliage pads, going to look good. So what we need to do now, just put the tree to one side. Let's just shake out the soil there so I can show you. Now you'll notice in the bottom of the pot here we've got two nice big drainage holes. The last thing you want to do is to have a waterlogged bonsai, because if your water sits in there and it can't run out, then the roots can start to rot. And we don't want rotten roots. Right, so we need some mesh. Alright, a couple of little pieces of mesh there, one for each hole, and that will stop the soil from falling out of the holes. We are going to need some wire. Now, watch closely. What we're going to do is we are going to make a little clip just to hold the mesh in position, so that when we're moving the tree around, the mesh doesn't slide over, and then all the soil is going to fall out. So what we're going to do here is we are going to just bend that around there like that. Okay, then we're going to go back the opposite way, and we've got that nice little S shape there. Can you see that? And then what we're going to do, we're going to just snip that off. Some snips here. All right. Now we are going to bend the legs down. And this makes a neat little clip. Okay, can you see that? See if that's better. How's that? All right. So we need another one of those. One for each hole, obviously. Bend it around. Back the other way. Okay. Snip them off. Okay. Over there. Bend down the legs. And what we need now is the pot. Goes over there. So we get one. And ideally, if you get it right, the legs will be just the right size to fit through the holes. And I'll put that in and then I'll just show you. Alright. Okay, takes a bit of practice. I have done thousands of these. But at the end of the day, all you need is a little clip in there to stop the mesh from sliding around. Now, what we do now is we turn it over and we just bend those over there. Look at that. That's great. Okay, job done. Mesh in. Next, we need a bit of wire to go through the pot, and this we call the anchor wire. What we're going to do is we're going to just tie the tree into the pot. So we are going to put this through here, and it goes through inside the hole, poke it through there, and then I just bend that over there, that holds that there, and some up the other side, snip that bit off, and there, pull that through, push it down so it's nice and tight, pull that bit up and bend him over. Okay, now that'll just sit there for a little bit. The next thing we need to do is put a little bit of soil in the bottom of the pot. Now here I have a bag of soil and my trusty soil scoop. These are fantastic for potting, and I will show you why. If I can get this bag open, there we go. Soil scoop in there. Look at that, nice and neat. And then we can just put that in there. Don't want too much, just a little bit for now to cover the bottom of the pot. Alright, now you'll probably notice, but this soil is quite granular. Lots of little balls. This is a Japanese soil and it's called akadama. Brilliant for drainage. You can see that the water will just run straight through there. All it is little balls of dried loam. Alright, quite hard, but I can squidge it. So they will soak up the water. They will stay nice and firm. Any excess water just runs down through the grains and out through those great big holes at the bottom into the tray underneath. So, got a little bit there, that's great. I'll pop that there. I'm going to put my tree in because what I'm going to check now is that the height is right. I want the start of my bonsai to be just level with or just a little bit up from the top of the pot. I don't want it down too low. I don't want it ideally beneath the rim of the pot. Okay, so that actually is sitting about right. Obviously if it's sitting a bit low, we could put some more soil underneath that and pop him up a little bit. So the next thing we need to do, because that's about right, that height there, I'm quite happy with that. The next thing we need to do is to make sure that it's sitting in the pot in the right place. Now, I will move him around a little bit and hopefully you will be able to see what I mean in the right place, because obviously we don't want him over there because he's going to be off balance. Do we want him right over this side? Actually, it doesn't look too bad over there because this branch is covering this space here. Okay, I'll move that bag out of the way and you can see the whole pot there. Alright, so if we put him dead centre, things can look a bit too even. This branch starts to come out over there a little bit. If I put him too far back, we've got too much foreground, too much background. Now, I'm obviously looking from the back of the tree. This is the viewing side here because we can see all of the trunk here. I'm just going to spin him around so that I can take a look and you can have a look at the back of the tree. And I am going to put him about there. All right? In fact, not about there, I'm going to put him right there. Just like that. The top of the tree, which is up here, all right, I want it to be right over the start of the tree, or thereabouts, so that it's not leaning over, not leaning forward or backwards. I want it to look balanced. There we go. So, I'll just spin them around again and have a look. Because this bit, you've got to take your time, and you've got to just keep looking at him, give him a little bit of a tweak here and there. Okay. Now sometimes you might just keep flopping back over it until we get the rest of the soil in, so don't worry about it too much. What I'm going to do now, I am just going to pass the wire over. I've got a big root here, which makes me nice and firm, so I'm just going to pass him over there and just tie him off a little bit. I'm not going to tighten it up. It's quite loose. What I'm going to do now, so they're not in my way, I'm just going to trim back those ends there. Right, so that'll hold it a little bit, but it's not going to be firm. What I'm going to do now is work some more soil in. So, I'm going to place lots of soil in there. And what I tend to do is just to place it right around the trunk there, and it seems to roll down quite nicely into the pot. There we go. So I get a good bit in there, all the way around. Probably enough just to sort of get the soil up to about halfway up the inside of the pot. Because now what we want to do is work the soil in around the root ball. So at the moment it's quite wobbly because he hasn't got any soil really wrapping around his root ball. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my chopstick and I'm going to just carefully work the soil in. And what I tend to do is put my fingertips on top of the soil, alright, place it on there, and then I work the chopstick around my fingertips like that, alright. And I can feel the soil. Obviously at the moment I can see it all going. It's just disappearing. So I'm working it down there. I'm not ramming it in there. I'm not trying to pack it in there. Just softly. And I always think this bit's a bit like standing on the beach in your bare feet, just on the edge of the water, and the waves come in around your toes and you just wiggle your toes and the sand falls away from under your feet there. If you've never done it, you're going to think I'm mad. But if you have done it, it's that kind of feeling. You can just feel it, feel the soil just falling away from your fingertips. And as soon as it stops falling away, you know that that bit's done. Right, so, firming up. Good job. Bit more soil. Shake it down there. That's good. Around there. Right, I'll do a bit more working in with the old chopstick. So I just work my way around like that. just feeling with my fingers, see if there's any pockets under there, little air pockets. Right. How are we doing? Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Right. A little bit more soil around here. Alright, so we're getting there now. The right end of the chopstick. One dirty end and one clean end. Pretty good. The tree's quite firm now. Right, that looks good. Nice and firm. That's really good. So you can see that's in there. That's really good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tighten up the wire here. Alright, and I'll probably just have a little bit of a clean up at the same time. Got bits of soil everywhere, and then we'll do the next bit. So there we are. I've had a little clean up now, and looking at the tree, looks good. We've got a couple of other little things to do now. We've got this little brush here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around and just tap the top of the soil down. You can see it just cleans it up nicely. Alright, any little roots in there start to pop back out. And it just kind of doesn't push the soil down, so it's not firming it down, but it just evens it up. Makes it look nice. Nice and even. Just finishes it off. Alright. Now, you can see what I've done is I've kept the soil just down below the rim of the pot. So we've got this little lip here all the way around, and that I think just frames the soil nicely, sets it off. So we don't want it right up to the top. And the other reason we don't want it right up to the top is because also when you go to water it, the water can run off the top. This way you can water it now and the soil will fill up to here and it'll just drain down into the soil. Brilliant. Okay, we've got this little bit of wire here. Do you remember that, where the anchor wire there? So what I'm going to do now is I am just going to get, you can use your snips, or a pair of pliers is actually better if you've got some. And I'm just going to give that a little turn on there. So I'll be careful not to cut through it. Oh, that's nice. That is nice and firm. Can I do the pickup test? Whoa, look at that. Alright, that's good. Now, obviously I don't want that bit sticking up, so I'm going to just push him down. Be careful not to push it through your finger, and I'm going to cover him over. A little bit of soil. That's the other thing nice about these here, because you can put the soil in there, and then we can just sprinkle a little bit more on top, like that. Any bits that we've missed. Stand that back up there. Tamp, tamp, tamp. Beautiful. Back round. I'll stand to one side so you can see. I'll have a quick look. Yeah, I like that. Like I say, at the moment he looks a little bit thin, but we've got new branches going to grow around here. New twigs, leaves. It's going to look fantastic. All we've got left to do now, and that's really important, we mustn't forget now, we've got to water our bonsai, because obviously the soil we just added is very dry, so we've got to give him a good soaking. You can stand him in a bowl of water up to here, and then the water will drain up through and soak into that soil, make it nice and wet. Good 10-15 minutes is good. Take it out, let him drain. When we do that, of course, because it's an indoor bonsai, we've got our drip tray there. Let's pop him in there, see what he looks like. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that will catch any drips as it runs down through. I've got a watering can here, and I'm going to do some watering with, and someone's forgot to fill my watering can. Right, just going to go and fill it up. Back in a minute. Alright, here we go, filled it up now. So we will give our lovely bonsai a nice good soaking. Oh, I can hear the roots going. Ah, it's lovely. There. So just work that around. That's it. And I'll just keep doing this. Gradually the water will come down and we'll start to run out the holes in the pot. So if you're using a watering can, watering it like this, just keep going till it starts to drain into the tray underneath, and then you know that the soil is nice and wet. Right, I'll let that soak in for a little bit. Pop that up there, and there we go. Spin them around for you so you can have a look. Okay. Very nice. So I hope you've enjoyed my little tutorial on how to pot your bonsai. Obviously this is basics. It does get a lot more involved, but you've got to start somewhere. So take care. Only 10 days later. Look, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at all these lovely green leaves. New shoots in abundance. In fact, needs pruning. Gosh, amazing. I do love it. It is fantastic.